Hi everyone, welcome to another crafting video. Today we will be doing our second Brother Scan and Cut video. The previous one was basically on unboxing the STX 1200 machine, what you get with the new machine, and today we're going to be doing our first project, which is a cutting project. So things we'll deal with is turning on the machine for the first time. I'll also give you advice on how to position the machine on your desk or workspace so that the mat doesn't hit your wall. And we'll also go through basic menu functions so that we can do our first project. Something I didn't mention last time is that you obviously get various manuals with your machine, and you just need to read through them just for general do's and don'ts. There are a few of them, but they are in all your various languages, so there might be a line or two, a page or two. Please just go through these for your general do's and don'ts. Let's put those aside. The one little booklet we'll be going through today is this one, which is to make our first project, this little box. And this is how big it is if you do it on a standard 12 by 12 inch piece of cardstock. What we'll be using today is a cutting mat. I'll be using my standard, at least my low-tack mat, which has this turquoise color at the bottom. You just need to remove your protective sheet. If you got a new machine, you probably would have received a piece of blue cardstock for this first project. If you don't have this or used it for something else, any piece of 12 by 12 inch cardstock will work. We're going to use this today. Try use something that's a little thicker than paper. Because we're doing a box, you just want a little bit of a sturdy project. What we need to do now is to place this piece of cardstock within these black borders. So you'll see it forms like a square. We need to position our cardstock within that black square. It doesn't have to be perfect, but we want to try not go over the black border lines. Just rub it with your hand. And for those of you whose mat is not so sticky anymore, you can use washi tape or plumber's tape just to stick down the cardstock so that it won't move. Just taking some off here. I'll use the plumber's tape at the top. And then you can also use the thinner washi tape. We all have the washi tape in our stash. I'm going to use that at the bottom. Try and keep these pieces of tape a little longer. If they are small, they can sometimes come off your mat and get lodged in your machine, which isn't a train smash. You can open your machine and get them out, which we will go through perhaps in a video later on. As you can see, we are now loaded up. Put that one side. I'm just going to rotate the machine for now. You need to pull out this little tray at the back. This is for the mat to be supported when it gets fed through the rear of your machine. With positioning it on your desk, you need to try and have at least 30 centimeters behind your machine. I normally work with a ruler. If a ruler fits nice and comfortably behind the machine, you have enough space. I'm now going to open the front flap. I've already pulled the little screen up, so it's in an up position. And what we will be using today, apart from our mat, is our spatula to get our project off at the end, and a little stylus for when we're navigating on our screen. Let's put them at the top here. The blade we will be using is your standard blade, which is your auto blade. It's the one that has a little black housing on the top. I think you will still be able to see for now I'm going to turn the machine on, which is this top right button, the power button. Just push and hold. You'll see a green light come on and your screen will come on. It's going to rotate through various screens, and when it gets to a certain point, we can proceed to go and retrieve our pattern. What I will be doing in a few seconds is putting pause on, just that I can move the machine forward so that you can have a better view of the screen to see what we're doing step by step. Before we do that though, I want to load the mat and the autoblade so you can see exactly what I'm doing there. It's going to show you various projects. All you need to do is press the home button, which is the second button, and it will take you to your first screen there. It will give you a little message saying the carriage will move to the initial position. Just press OK and you'll have your main screen. Don't worry, I will zoom on the screen now so you can see exactly what we're doing. I just want to load the mat first. You basically need to load it between two little ridges here. You'll see there's like a recess. Push your mat between those two little recesses. Support it with your hand, and in order to load the mat, it's your third button here, which looks like a little mat with the arrow at the top and the bottom. Press that, support your mat, and it will load into the machine. Okay, we're done there. We want to load our blade. Just take off the little protective cap. We're now going to put it into the carriage on the left hand side of the machine. Just hold this little section at the top. Here you pull this down. Let's see, it's loose. Drop your blade in there until it just feels free, and here we're going to push that down. You can see there's a little bit of resistance. Take your blade, just move it a little bit. It needs to be in that locked position. So now we are set. I'm going to put you on pause briefly just so that I can move the machine closer for you. Okay, I think the screen is forward enough for you to visualize what we're doing now. This is your home screen. Now that we're in a closer position, I'll just show you that's your power button, the one we pressed just now to turn the machine on. That's the home button, which will basically take you to the screen that you see pattern and scan. This is to load your mat, which we did already. If anything goes wrong and your paper starts moving or something tends to go wrong, this is a pause button, a great button that I've pressed many, many times. But for now, we're going to go and find our pattern so that we can make our little box. So we will go to the pattern screen. Press the very bottom. You can either go down one screen by one with a single arrow, or press the double arrow to go right to the bottom. Okay, this is how we navigate through our screens. Okay, however, the pattern we're using is within the second little one with the Eiffel Tower and the tree. Press it once. We now press the very bottom. This takes us to our box. We will be using the second box. The first one has like a little pattern drawn on it. We just want a plain little box. It's a green one, which is AR-Q102. I tend to use everything in inches. That's why you'll see mine says 9.44 inches. I just find that so many video tutorials and templates on inches, so I've pretty much converted from centimeters to inches. You can, however, change the setting if you're more comfortable to work in centimeters, and I will show you that in future videos. So basically, this little screen will show you that one box is fitting on a 12 by 12 piece of paper. It's giving you dimensions and that you are doing one box. At this point, we just say set. It will now show us a screen which represents our mat with all the little squares on, and it has our box towards the top left corner. At this point, if you want to move it around, just hold down with your stylus on the screen and you can move it around. I'm going to put it in the center just in case the cardstock moves or what have you, I tend to go into the center of the mat with big projects like this because there's not a lot of wastage cardstock. We are happy where it's positioned now, so we say OK. We then go to please select to select whether we want to cut or draw, or if you have other add-on kits you can emboss, foil, etc. But for now we are cutting. Here you can also change various settings. My machine is currently set on all the standard settings, which your machine will also be as a new one. And we basically want to start cutting the project. But sometimes we're not sure if the cardstock is correct. Perhaps we've changed a different thickness. So you can do a test cut. This you can choose various shapes, but generally it's a little triangle. So here it is on the bottom right, and we just say start. So what it's going to do is going to do a little test cut to see that it's not cutting through your mat or not cutting through the cardstock correctly. It's a little test. So you just do start. Your mat is currently being fed into the machine. After we've done this test cut, I will move the machine back so that you can see what's happening with the actual mat. Okay, I'm going to put you on pause for a second and let's have a look what's happened on our mat. Okay, our test cut has finished on the bottom right here. So all we do is just lift this washi tape a little bit. And you will see that it's cut our little triangle perfectly. Here it is in my hand. So now we know that it's actually cutting through the cardstock. It's not going to do an incomplete project where we cannot release the project from the negative space. This won't affect our project as we position it to the bottom right of the actual project. So we are now going to say fine, we are happy, we're not going to test again. So I'm sorry, the machine is a bit far, but you can see a green button, it just says start. We are going to press start. Now what it does, it's nicking the top of the mat to see how thick the mat is. It then does the same through the cardstock, and it auto detects how deep it needs to cut into this cardstock. That's what's so great about this AutoBlade technology. The screen is currently saying 3 minutes. This means that it will take between 2 to 3 minutes to cut this entire project. What is currently being done is the score lines. The Brother does not have a scoring tool. So for those of you that do kind of like manual card making and are familiar with the scoreboard, we would be putting our cardstock in there and scoring so it's easier to fold. Now the Brother doesn't have this, so what it does is little cuts, like perforation cuts that will enable us to fold our project. This is what takes quite a while in our projects to cut. The actual cutting of the external part of the box is very, very quick. So this is all real time right now, and it will take at least another 2 minutes. This is relatively a cute project to make. Not a little basic one that you have no use for. You can make like little wedding favors, birthday gifts, put a few little sweets and what have you within this box. I've actually done it where I have scaled down this project, which we will go through at a later stage, that I can actually fit 4 of these little boxes on the same piece of paper. And I found that was really awesome for craft shows where you want to promote your product and you just put a few little sweets in and hand them out as freebies. I did that at a Brother show 2 years ago and they went down very, very well. Okay, we're now currently cutting. It's basically cutting the perimeter and also If you look here, it's got like little cutouts in this crown section. That's what it's working on right now. And the washi tape is holding down very well. The cutting is relatively quick. I just find it's awesome using this machine for mass production, especially around Valentine's Day, Mother's and Father's Day. It's just so much quicker to use this machine than doing everything manually by hand. So yes, our project is finished being cut. The carriage has returned to its home position, and we are ready to take our project off the mat. What we can do, okay, we can save our washi tape. If you press the unload button, which is the third one, it will unload your mat. And you can then close your machine, and I can show you what I'm doing. Okay. Why are we not closing? That's because we have a little cap in the way. There we go. So now I'm just going to release our project. Remove all the tape. Pull off the cardstock so your negative space is gone, and that leaves your project behind. This is where our spatula comes in. Okay, so that is your box cut out. And please, before you go with your next project, remove all these little pieces. Just use your spatula and just release them and throw them away. You don't want these landing up in your machine. Throw them in the bin, and then you're sorted for your next project. Put your protective plastic back on. Just keeps hairs and dust from getting on your mat. Okay, I'm going to try and show you now. I'm not sure if you will see the perforations. I hope as I angle it you will be able to see them, but that's what forms our scoring lines, and it just helps you to fold your project. Okay, and I tend to hold the two crowns together and just push like this a little bit, just so that the cardstock bends. Line up your little crown. You'll see this little slot. It will go over the crown. The other side as well. And there you have your little box. Well, it's actually quite a big box. You can fit a lot of sweets and goodies in there. So there we go. You can see how easy it was to fold along those perforations for our score lines. And that is our two projects. So it's really not that difficult. Try it out before our next little get together. I hope to release a video at least every week or two. It all depends on our load shedding and what have you. But thank you for joining me today. And next time we'll deal with another project or technique and build our confidence some more. Thanks so much for joining me. Have a great day. Bye now.